I had no idea that there was such a huge issue between the nauticals and the meters and the feets and the toes and the. Do they measure in
The
toes?
imperial versus metric system is, I think, what you're referring to.
Yeah, that one. Yes. Sorry. Big words. Long day.
That's the one. That's the one. How do they met? Well, Sant, you're probably just used to miles. How many miles do they make you run in the army?
Miles.
You still got to run miles?
Yeah, two minimum.
A day?
Well, I'm running like 2.5 a day right now just to like keep my steps high. But I think in the Army, it's like every 6 months they make us do 2 miles for time.
That's it?
Yeah. Well, it's just like a test, just to make
Kinson
sure you're
hasn't
still fit.
seen the end of a mile and since middle school. Don't let him bully you. His cardio is a set above 12 reps. Like Kinson's like, oh, only 2 miles? I can polish that off before I go hit under the squat bar, bro. Kinson, when's the last time you ran a mile?
The last time I actually ran a mile, for time?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be tomorrow now, just so I can fucking show you, but it's been a while. No, but I'll do 2.5, 3 hours underwater, and I mean, getting to the 2.5, 3 hour mark sucks, but you can do it. Fucking try it, man. It's not easy.
Breathing would be the hardest thing, would it not?
Nah, breathing's the easy part. Breathing's the easy part.
Darth Vader.
Yeah. No, it's just having your head enclosed for having your head enclosed for upwards of 2.5 to 3 hours under atmospheric pressure and wearing about 100 pounds worth of gear, regardless of the buoyancy factor. Anyway.
Well, I'm under your mom's atmospheric pressure.
Dylan, that one probably wasn't even good 10 years ago when you were like 11.
I thought that was great.
Man.
Oh, right in the kisser.
Oh,
Right
I'm so jealous. You're younger than me, Dylan. I wish I was that young and didn't have to do anything and could run a mile. Like I don't get the insult. It was funny then, and it's funny now.
No, I understand. Listen, I understand. When I was 21, I was stupid too. So I understand.
Oh, I am so incredibly intelligent. Probably the smartest person in the world. Whoa. I think you could say.
When you
it's just
Dylan, could you run a mile? No.
Last time I did it was probably within 2 years, and I remember specifically because I was like semi-training for it. It was like a side quest, if you will, just to get it under, I want to say 8 minutes, and I think I got it under 7. It was like 7.5 minutes.
7-minute mile.
Yeah, not that good.
That's pretty good.
No. I remember like in high school, people used to do it in like 6:30. Like the athletes when we'd all do it in the gym. There'd be some athletic kids that could do it in like 6. Some would get under 6. Just like those really skinny, taller kids.
Endurance though. You gotta have the endurance.
No, that's the thing. Actually, like I may have been less equipped because I was heavier when I was redoing the mile for just personal benefit, but the added grit I learned from just going to the gym and just pushing past limits and knowing my limits. I was like, I don't need to stop. I can keep going the pace. Like that made more difference than actually just like being more aerodynamic.
Dylan has done this before. That's exactly right, man. When you go to the gym, you learn how to push yourself. And when you know how to push yourself, you can push yourself in more things than just weight training. You're 100% on, Dylan.
This is why leg day
100%.
is my favorite day. It's because it's a microcosm for everything in life. Like if you can conquer the physical, it is the perfect interpretation that you can use. It's a perfect fable that you can tell yourself throughout the rest of your life. It is you versus something. And in a pure essence, conquering yourself and physical, it doesn't get more simplistic than that. And like that is why you can use it in literally everything. Leg day is my absolute favorite. I love it. Love it so much.
Yeah, leg days are hard, but if you've never ran 3 miles or 5 miles, that's where the mental toughness really starts.
I'd rather do a leg day than miles.
You start trying to
me too.
Compromise with yourself. You're like, oh, I did 2 miles. That's good enough.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I got to get to 3 miles.
It's those workouts that you can do more. It's like if you can only bench press so much, you're not going to be able to will yourself to.
Right.
But running or push-ups, things like that, you could get another one if you really wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the limit to that is so different. It's so vast. Like humans used to hunt animals like literally just by outrunning them.
That's my argument when people say the fastest people in the world can run. I say that's a joke. We used to hunt. We used to run every day. Our ancestors would be able to run circles around these Olympic athletes.
Yeah.
Guarantee it wouldn't even be close.
Mm-hmm. We should
Really
just
am
call
gonna
this the
run
running
tomorrow.
podcast.
That's going to be fun.
Yeah, we should break down our running programs
Yeah.
Well, I don't have one right now, so that won't take long.
next.
Yeah. What is next, Sanch? What do you got for us, man?
So I know we should probably talk about France Pro. I know we did break it down there on, it looks like EP09's new name is Dylan's #1 fan, but over on EP09's channel, we did a breakdown on his
Didn't even
podcast.
see that.
Yes.
Athletes rep. Okay, all right.
Yes, we'll definitely talk about that in a second for sure. But when we talk about the
Sounds
France
gross.
Pro, when we look at Samson Dauda doing that show, I honestly didn't watch Muscle Discord's video on it, to be honest.
Me neither.
I don't know if you guys saw it.
Maybe the thumbnail.
Yeah, I mean, I saw like
I
the short.
saw the.
where
I
he
did
said,
see
like,
the thumbnail. I didn't see the
It's
video.
like a big mistake or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, do you guys see that as a mistake for him kind of showing his cards before the Olympia?
It could be, but he has more to gain than more to lose. Like, it could backfire, but like, given his track record, I would anticipate it to do more for him than takes away. And like, his worst case scenario is just like what he gets slightly worse for the Olympia, still within the top 4, at least top 5. And then his best case scenario is that it actually helps him and he gets a little better. Maybe he's top 2 this year. Maybe it makes all the difference for him to win. I would say that's still out of the realm of possibility just by a little bit. I would say it helps him a place or 2. It hurts him at the very worst, like a place.
Mm-hmm. So I don't understand why he was saying it's Matthew, right? Matthew?
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt. Sorry, Matt. Not trying to give you a surname. But yeah, I don't see it as a mistake at all. In reality, I know I've talked with Samson, so like I'm trying to remember like what I can and can't say, but I know from what he kind of explained is like, hey, like this is a good opportunity to, just try out some new stuff and see how the peak goes. So
Yeah.
What that means. He didn't tell me like if they were doing anything crazy, but it sounds like they're going to be working on improving their package, and hopefully they're going to be able to use France Pro or whatever they want to call this, the Tsunami Cup, Tsunami Pro.
Yeah.
Yep. They're going to use this as a kind of a primer for the Olympia, and I think Dylan broke it down perfectly. The worst that could happen is he falls to 5th place this year, which is still top 6 in the world. So
Very unlikely as well.
yeah, very unlikely.
Yeah. I didn't see. Like I said, I didn't see Matt's video, but look, I'm sure that there are potential downsides to this. I mean, if Samson was peaking 100% for this show and then was going into the Olympia, and this is a prelude to an extent. If Samson was peaking 100% for that show and going into the Olympia, he still looks better typically the second time around within the last couple of shows that he did, right?
Yeah.
Good point.
More often than not, we can definitely say. But what a lot of people don't know is that Samson isn't even peaking 100% for this show. He's not doing a carb up week. Like, he's not doing a peak week. He's doing a peak day. He put it on his stories today that they were planning on just adding carbs over one day.
Interesting.
At least was my understanding of it, right? So
Good.
is he going all in for this show? It doesn't seem like it. Does he need to go all in to this show in order to win? No, he does not, realistically.
Presti
A
means
90%
business.
Samson. Well, look, a 90% Samson could beat a 100% on Andrea Presti. And will a day of carb up do that for Samson? I don't know. I really don't. And Mark, you're correct.
I mean, if they gave Bruno the edge over Andrea Presti, there's no way.
Yeah, it's not even a conversation.
Yeah. And he wasn't what you call peeled.
Andrea and Samson have literally faced off together last year at the Romania Pro. Andrea was 6th and Samson was in 1st.
Yeah, he was at that show, right?
Exactly. And that was
he was off at that show, I will be
okay,
honest.
and that helps Samson because it's Andrea has back-to-back shows, didn't do well the last time. He was 12th at the Olympia, got a little worse at Romania, and there was more time in between that, if I'm not mistaken, at least 2 weeks. But now it's another situation like that, and Samson, he's fresh. Like, there is no, like, bro, Samson, there's no way he loses. Absolutely.
I don't think no one's talking about him losing.
No. I just
Nobody
think
has
people
anybody
think he's going to
but
reveal
Samson
his physique
first.
too soon or something like that.
Oh, that's one of the things is no matter what happens, there are still going to be those out there that'll say, even if Samson is 100% on, there's still going to be those that'll say, he could have been a little bit tighter here. He was a little bit tighter at this show. And it could be perceived between now and the Olympia by certain fans as being a downside. So could it cost him in that way? Yeah, it's possible. Sure. But if he shows up and he is really like the dominant winner, nothing but benefit. I mean, nobody can say anything to a guy that comes in and dominates the show. Look at Crizzo in 2023 at the M Pro Classic. Showed up, Mark, you remember, dominated. There was no question. It was the most dominant victory of the entire season. This might be something that we witness.
The M Pro?
The M Pro Classic in 2023.
And Presti was there also.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
He was
Crizzo
second.
dominated the lineup.
Presti even got second, did he?
Crizzo dominated, and that could be what happens here. There's a good point right there. Presti was second in that show, and now we have Samson to come in and do that. If that's the case. But either way, there's more benefits than there is. Like you could chop it up 80-20 or 90-10, whatever way you want to look at it like that. As toward the positive.
I think as another point, we always complain about bodybuilders not competing. And then as soon as somebody does, roughly the same things were said about him doing 2 shows after. Like, you're taking qualifications away from somebody. Why would you even feel the need to compete 2 times after the Olympia?
Makes the Olympia better.
It's just like...
I don't want the classic physique of 64 qualified competitors to be in the open.
Yep.
Exactly.
I think it waters it down.
Yep. It's a good
I love the argument. I love the argument. You're taking a qualification away from somebody. Maybe they shouldn't be there then.
Yeah, clear. I mean, if they're not winning, then they shouldn't be there.
Show up better. Exactly. Or keep competing. Sometimes that's the way the cookie crumbles. I'm sorry you waited for this show and somebody else decided to do it. I'm so down for guys competing more and more. Absolutely.
And he already has competed three times. The Arnold Classic. 2 Arnold Classics.
Yep.
Romania's four times after the Olympia. So it's not like he's revealing this physique that we haven't seen. We've seen it a bunch of times, right?
And I said on EP's podcast, it's just like, if that matters to judges, like if they want to be blown off the chairs the first time they see anything, then they shouldn't be judges. They're judging what's in front of them, not the big reveal, as Milos would put it.
Don't be dissing Tyler, or Bob will make a video on you.
True.
I'm the athlete.
At least one.
He's going to see that, right. And he's not going to like that.
The new athlete's rep. Yeah,
it's an honorary position. I just kind of gave this role to myself.
He does watch Sanchez stuff, too.
It's an honorary position. I can give this to myself. What's wrong with that?
Who appointed you?
Me. True. It's an honorary position.
Who appointed Bob?
Well, it doesn't matter. I can show you a magazine right now.
Josh, you've competed in the NBC, correct?
I have not. No.
No?
Only natural shows.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, well, if you were an athlete, you can allow me to represent you. And then I would just say, well, I'm representing someone
I am an athlete. I mean, I've competed.
That's so true.
Yeah. And honestly, if I can't even get a press pass to an NPC show, like what would incentivize me to spend all that money to compete at one?
Why is your name that?
You know?
It's a joke I'll have to explain later, pal.
When you're old and grown.
He didn't know why my name was Dylan's #1 fan. He's like, why? Dylan. He's right to question that.
Yeah, he knows Dylan. He's aware of Dylan's channel.
Oh, okay. He's aware of the Dylans.
He's wondering why this would take place.
Yeah, he may be. Maybe.
Maybe
he's not surprised. Hey.
Bodybuilding News Network.
I'm not
right. Just to help people out.
Did the Night of Champions used to be before the Olympia? Were those 2 shows close? Or was it?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No.
Okay. Because I thought they were
kind
close.
of move around throughout the year, or is it kind of always in the fall?
The Night of Champions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let me see.
Okay.
I don't know. Don't quote me.
It's just, and also in Samson's case, it'd be different if it was like, I guess literally anybody, insert someone who can't peak properly here. Samson has literally never gotten worse show to show. And I keep bringing up the track record, but this has been the same for 2022, 2023, 2024. You can even go back in 2021 when he was doing a lot of those European shows, or at least shows over there more outside of the US.
Yeah, always competed a bunch.
Exactly. And he's always gotten better.
No.
He's never gotten worse. So I fail to see. I think it could be a mistake. Maybe it is, but like he has more to gain than more to lose.
Yeah. Yep. So the consensus is it's a good decision.
Does he really think he's going to win the Olympia? That's the thing.
I don't think he does. Not this year.
If he really thought it wasn't going to be Derek versus Hattie, he'd probably not.
He wouldn't have done it. Yeah,
I kind of agree.
That's a good
point.
And
I think
Mark.
he can win the Olympia. I think he absolutely can.
Point.
This year?
There's a 15% chance that he can.
Yeah, but then how many people are you betting on to be off for that to happen?
Not many.
Two.
Derek and Hottie, but it's just like Hottie's like
never
but
off.
Hottie's never off.
Neither is Derek.
Exactly.
Derek
That's why it's a 15%
and he's
chance.
only, but he.
Yeah.
I would give them both like 30-35% chance each to win. And then the rest of the pie is split below, maybe Nick somehow is so on and brought his waist in. Maybe that can happen, so he gets a small chance. Samson, you could do something similar.
I am excited to see Nick. I mean,
Nick
me and Mark,
Samson's
we were
good.
both predicting him back in the day to win, and I think this is the chance for him to show up. And what's I guess Matt's been talking about Nick too, like the hashtag not hiding physique or whatever the hashtag is. Is there a beef there?
Oh, he doesn't like that Nick isn't showing his
Muscle
physique?
Discord doesn't like Nick right now.
Oh, well, which is it? Well, which is it? I don't get it here. I mean, he's entitled to not show his physique. I prefer if he did. I think he's just trying something different this year. I think Brandon's maybe a little more egregious.
Yeah.
Yeah, he came out and said that that's what he was doing a number of times now. He said it on several videos that he did, that he's just taking a new approach. It's the desktop guy.
Yeah.
Did you just get back from a game or something?
Well, the AFL Grand Finals this weekend, so I thought I'd we're the worst team in the AFL, so we came last on the ladder out of 18 teams, so I thought, rep it.
Wait. Your shirt matches the scarf.
Yeah, I know. The curtains match the carpet.
Excuse me?
Okay.
I have a Raiders hat on my junk.
I think that line worked for me once.
Really?
That'd be a good photo shoot.
But did you mean to match the plaid shirt with the
It was unintentional, but it actually worked out. I'm happy with it.
I'm sure it did.
Anyway, what's happening?
Sure it did. You look like you just came back from a Quidditch match.
Quidditch, yes, I
It
did.
does look Quidditch, yeah. Xavier, we're just finishing up a conversation about whether or not we think Samson Dauda competing in France is a mistake, and if there are any downsides.
I think the only downside really is that, the travel's not a big deal. I think
No, not at all.
the only downside is...
I think he said it was a 6-hour drive for him.
And the only downside is really if he looks not as good, not as expected, and then the backlash online. That's the only real downside I see. I don't think he's going to try to carb up massively. He doesn't carb up hard anyway. So he doesn't carb up hard, It's not like he's taking Well, I just realized Mark has breasts all over his top.
talked about that. His
Take your
what?
pick.
Mark has breasts all over his
one.
top.
He does, yeah. I noticed that.
Has anyone pointed that out?
halfway through talking, I was like,
I like the little hangers there. They're funny.
No,
got some door
you don't need
knockers.
those.
Has anyone pointed that out so far?
Blockbusters there.
No.
Well, he wore that on one of my podcasts, so...
Whoppers.
Amazing.
Them
Some fun
flapjacks.
bags. Flapjacks, yep.
I love that word, flapjacks.
Egg rolls. Oh, those are nice ones there.
They're good.
I think Mommy Milkers is my favorite.
Mom, yeah, you would say that. You would say that, you disgusting simpleton.
You caveman.
I'm down here in...
Everybody's acting like it's the first time they've seen this shirt. Mark, you've worn this on my podcast a few times now.
Yeah, I've worn it on Sanchez, I believe.
Yeah.
I probably just thought it was like a
the
nice
athlete's
shirt,
reps.
And now I've realized I'm like, are they breasts? While I was talking, I was just looking.
My wife bought it for me.
They
Nice,
sure are.
nice. There's actually a museum down here. It's called MONA. So it stands for the Museum of Old and New Art.
Moaning.
And it has a lot of weird stuff in there. So they have a literal machine that simulates a human digestive system. So you put food
That's
into it. and it makes poo. So it goes through like 7 chambers.
Yeah.
And then it has a wall. This is what reminded me of your shirt. It has a wall of vaginas. So they're all like literal people's real ones, but they're casts. You know what I mean? So they're plaster on the wall.
Yeah.
There's a huge wall of them, and there's some wild stuff out there. Wild stuff.
It'd be a hard room to get through.
Some weird looking,
Yeah, look it up though. It's amazing.
I think I've seen
Anyway,
enough
it's
in my
amazing,
lifetime.
he says.
Samson. I don't think there's any.
Yeah, guys, you should see this room. You should see the beef in here, man. It's amazing. Google it.
But
We're talking vag.
Minge?
Oh, Lord.
oh,
You guys are hitting all the.
I was going to say, I don't know
algorithm
how
right
many words we want to put in there of that nature. I was going to start throwing out some Australian ones, but yeah, they're probably.
Yeah, this one's not monetized.
Yeah, that's
The algorithm would pick up on that
I was
too.
concerned for that. So, but yeah, I don't think there's any real downside. Like for Samson competing, I don't think there's. I think it's like 90% positive, maybe 10% negatives. But yeah, I think it's a good idea.
That's what EP said.
Ah, did you?
Or
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
was it you the ratio?
I said
Dylan-
either 80-20 or
Dylan's number
90-10.
one fan.
So
Ah.
yeah, we're on par there. Yep.
Great minds think
Yep.
alike.
Yep.
Wow.
Indeed they do.
Yeah, so that was kind of like the first thing you missed. I would say the meat and potatoes of this podcast is going to be talking about athlete reps, as I will not let the conversation die.
Clearly.
So I think I was on the toilet and I was thinking, or the turlet, I don't know.
The Dunny.
I've heard some different sayings.
I don't know what it is in Australia. The
dunny.
shitter in
The water
Australia,
closet?
right? Yeah.
The shit
I
out
like
the Dunny.
the dunny. I'm going to try to remember that one.
The dunny. Yeah. I'm going to use that.
We'll timestamp it. The dunny. And
The
I
dunny.
know I had Paul Lazan on probably 2.5 years ago, and we talked about this, talked about having an athlete rep in each division. I think Abby Bolton was on that show as well. And what I wanted to pitch to you guys, just to get some actual tangible traction on the idea, is if we do have a new athlete rep, since the current one has been inactive for a decade, what are the criteria that we want to see from the new athlete rep? Or do we want to have multiple athlete reps, i.e. one for each division? And then you have all them consolidate into a council or a console, and they discuss what they want, and then have like one president of the council speak for the athletes.
Is that I suppose
I have to urinate.
such a random time to say that. Anyway,
Dylan leaving?
now someone just said that I need to go piss.
Dylan quit.
But man, it's such a. It's been such a thing in bodybuilding for so long. Like I've followed bodybuilding since before Bob was like the athlete's rep. You know what I mean? Like before that was even announced. So we're talking like, what am I now? 35? Like
That's when like Sean
20
and Lee were doing it.
I followed bodybuilding since I've been 14, so 21 years now. Like intensely, maybe like 22 years all up. So it's like we've never had like a council. Like I remember I got into it when it was like Lee Priest and Sean Ray were fighting for more money for the guys placing lower at the Olympia. Like you never really hear about that discussion now, which is maybe something we could talk about as well, because sometimes I think the guy who comes 8th in the world, he can go and win smaller shows now and win, 25 grand or whatever, but he comes 8th in the Olympia and gets way less. Like to me, I'm like, maybe there should be something there, whether it's the federation or if it's the Olympia or whatever. But yeah, I think we need someone or like a group of people who are maybe, it's tough because in the NBA, in other federations, it's a little bit different. And in the NBA, they're not judged on, it's not a subjective thing. It's not like, it's like if you did it in figure skating where it's judged, you would go, okay, well, now the athletes that are being judged in the figure skating are maybe fighting against or fighting for the other athletes, but they're fighting with, the judges, the officials and stuff like that of the sport. And then they're, they're potentially judging them or whatever. It's like, then there can be sort of lines blurred, I guess. But yeah, I think there should be at least someone. And I think it's actually good being someone who's retired, but having someone on the panel or a group of people on the panel that are still competitors where it's anonymous, where these guys don't have to come out and say, well, I think the federation should do this, because there's no bodybuilder that wants to come out independently and say, "Oh, I reckon Federation should do this. I reckon Federation," because it's not a dumb thing. And if you're the one guy doing it,
you're going to get backlash.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it should be maybe like an anonymous thing where you have a group of athletes where there's a meeting, like even Zoom meetings. It doesn't need to be in person. So Zoom meetings with, select a group of athletes as voted by other athletes, and they can be the athletes council or whatever. Yeah. And I think that would be good, and have a meeting once every 3 months. But to be honest, how motivated the athletes would be to actually do that, because as we know, sometimes even getting guys on podcasts can be very difficult. I mean, I was late as shit, but with bodybuilding, it is difficult. I think that, and what stuff Bob said before about guys not showing up and stuff, like, yeah, there was the thing about Lee, and Lee has a different story, all that, but I think it would be difficult to get guys to even show up to a Zoom meeting at times.
For sure, they're lazy.
Lee, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder how you combat that if you don't have enough people showing up. Then do you have like I know in the Army for stuff we always have like a primary and an alternate for stuff. So then do we have, once a year you have a some kind of like, Mark has a Mark's Max Muscle Invitational, and Nick Strength and Power used to have something where you compare the physiques. We do something a little different where people vote on who they think would be the best representative.
I didn't laugh at your show.
He's too busy fixing his fucking tie. It looks fun.
Laughed at my show.
Perfectionist.
But
yeah, it looks great.
Let me finish my tangent, my soapbox. So
please.
So if we have the athletes vote on, say, 2 people for each division to represent them for the year or for the season, right? Maybe just for like the 2025 qualifying season. And then those guys hop on a Zoom call once a quarter and consolidate what's happened in that quarter, and if there's any issues, any backlight or lighting, or someone got weighed wrong, we can consolidate our concerns. And then you have one president, preferably not me, push that up to someone, either the Tyler, probably Tyler. I think he's the one with the most willingness to listen. If not Tyler, then they would designate someone to be the management rep, maybe Bob. No, hey. It's just the same circle.
I hope Tyler, I hope that he continues to do what he's doing and stays just as motivated, and maybe even becomes more motivated and just keeps pushing and innovating, I guess. I don't know if you guys saw it. I saw he actually just put out the wrap up.
Europa recap?
The recap, yeah. I didn't actually get a chance to watch it. Did anyone see that?
I didn't see it yet, no.
I love the stuff he does like that. Like, we need more innovation like that, and more people, I suppose, that are willing to do new things in the Federation. And one thing I'd love to see is something where, the athletes fight for this sort of thing, where we have an overall championship. You get it in all these other sports where it's you get points, or you get whatever in a full championship sense. So that would encourage guys to compete more, and then at the end of the year have a prize or something for whoever wins or whatever placings they get. So you get a certain amount of points for winning the Olympia and second and third and fourth, and then so at least it encourages guys to become hey, if I get top 5 in the IFB yearly world championships, I'm just going to get myself X amount of money, and that can be sponsored by whoever, the way they do it now with the extra prize money for the events. But I think if there's an overall, then it would drive people to do
Pro League World Tournament.
Yeah, so then you can get guys might go, instead of doing 2 shows this year, I might as well just do 4, because they're all close together. And then if I do 4, then I might get enough points to get X amount of money in the world championship, or something. I don't know.
Yep.
But the athletes,
because once that point system went away,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they need to ask for it, too. But once the point systems went away, I feel like we didn't get to see a lot of the guys pushing 4 or 5 shows a year just to get the points up so they could qualify. Because there were a lot of guys that did that. They pushed for it.
Max Charles, guys like that.
Yeah, he shouldn't be there.
No.
Well.
What?
I guess what I can say to some of this is there's a couple of questions that goes along with this whole athletes rep thing. Because there's been a lot of info that's come out in the past 3 months as compared to the last 10 years, honestly. There's a whole lot of new information that's been coming out here.
Courtesy
And some
of
of it really made me
EP09.
think, well, not just me. I'm just one of them. But one of the questions is, like, Dylan, as the honorary athletes rep on this channel, if you were to be an official athletes rep, would you
Right.
do that as a volunteer? Or would you expect to be paid?
With the amount of responsibilities you guys are, if it was Bob's athletes rep, yeah, I'd volunteer for it because it's just a fancy title. But like for there's like what you guys are saying with actual responsibilities, no, you'll have to pay me.
Yeah. So then the question comes to who is going to pay these people to actually put this together, and who's going to be responsible for the framework of presenting something to the IFBB. Because the one thing that was explained to me is that Bob considers himself the athlete's rep to the point of the IFBB and any disputes with that when it comes to basically judging, is how I understood it. When it comes to lighting or prize money or anything else like that, it's entirely on promoters in order to put that forward, entirely, apparently. The
What do you mean to
IFBB
put
has
it
nothing
forward?
to do with it. So if an athlete went to Bob about lighting or whatever it might be at a show, the IFBB has nothing to do with it. It's all the promoters. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I think that is something that could probably be
standardized,
overcome, I guess. It's standardized, as I mentioned, when it comes, and we want to stick to the athlete's rep thing, not talk about lighting and everything else, but strictly when it comes to the athlete's rep, if you have one person from each division that is going to be an athlete's rep, plus Sanch, like you're saying, a potential sub, right? You could be looking at, how many divisions?
7,
10,
8,
something like that. Call it 10.
9?
That's 20 people. He would have to pay how much a year,
Men's,
right? So there's some math for it. There's so many,
Yeah.
Well, there's
then,
infinite money over there in Dubai, so I'm gonna craft up an email over the weekend.
It's the
Hey,
athletes
Bader,
thing, the athletes rep thing. I feel like it's not as cut and dry as it was. Let's just get somebody else, and they're going to solve the problems for prize money and fix the lighting at shows. And well, you go to the promoter about those things, not the athlete's rep. Now, the solution is that the IFBB, as you said, Sanch, standardizes something to be enforced. There's judging criteria to be enforced. Or if there's a lighting issue like this person at the completely outside of the lineup, the first call out, 6 people, has 50% of the light that this person in the middle has. Now, there's an issue, right? As Bob explained to me that he could go and do something about it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the lineups are too big. Maybe there's something the IFBB can do about that. Figure it out. Don't sanction as many shows. That's definitely within their power to do, right? That's not going to happen.
They're not going to do that.
They're
a business. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think if they were able to solve all these problems when it comes to the people and the money and the framework of what the athletes rep would do, one person from each division definitely makes sense. Just have one rep and then put it up to a vote every year.
Mm-hmm.
After that, you have to hook the athletes as having actual interest in it, where it's a benefit to them. What's their benefit? That's what it's going to come down to.
Yep. What is actually going to change?
There's the benefit, change potentially, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hypothetically, if I was the spearhead of this operation, I think the first thing I'd want to do is just increase communication between the league and the audience and the fans and the athletes. Is if I hear someone complain about something, I'm going to communicate it to the audience either through a podcast or through a news release that's actually typed up and signed, saying like, I've received these concerns relating to this. At this day, I pushed it up to the Pro League via Tyler Mannion, and I'm waiting for a response. So at least your worries are being heard instead of people just hopping on shows like this and screaming into the void and just hoping that Bob changes what he's been for the last decade. There needs to be something. And I just don't know I don't know who's going to do it, and I don't know when, but I've been banging this drum for 2.5 years now, and I'm not tired of drumming yet. So Who knows? Maybe I got to pick up the torch. I don't know.
I think with prize money going up, though, I think it's chilled things out a lot on that front, at least to some regard.
Yeah, shout out to...
it was getting pretty pathetic.
The fact that it was the same as 20 years ago, beyond ridiculous. I think like inflation was like almost 3 times or or something like that. So it's like if inflation's gone up 3 times, so essentially they're getting 1/3 the prize money that they did 20 odd years ago or 20 something years ago, which is a joke. So it's like the industry,
Crazy.
That means the industry is going backwards. It used to be on ESPN, not on ESPN. It's like we can't continue to slide. So I like the fact that we have more shows now, more money's coming into it. If more money's in it, it draws more people in. Like there's no coincidence. It's not a coincidence that there was more guys competing this year than last year. You had Martin compete this year. He didn't do last year. You have more guys going, yeah, I might do that extra show. Martin, had there not been more prize money in New York, maybe he would have sat out New York and we wouldn't have seen Martin versus Nick Walker in New York. It would have been a much less exciting show. Like, it's made bodybuilding better, the money, like facts,
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
I think...
Plus the Arnold pumped up their money as well.
And I think the more we can keep it moving in this direction, I think it's awesome. Like we just saw Ronnie Coleman. I don't know if you guys saw it on, what's his name? Podcast. Shannon Sharp's podcast. And Shannon Sharp.
Wow.
He trained with Phil Heath. He interviewed Phil Heath a little bit ago. He loves bodybuilding and he's on ESPN, huge name. I don't know how many tens of millions of followers he probably has, but he's jacked. And then I saw a thing go up and someone saying like, should Shannon Sharp compete in bodybuilding? I'm like, the IFBB and everyone should be doing whatever it takes to get this dude on stage because Shannon Sharp was dropping Joel Stubbs' name in terms of one of the best backs of all time in that Ronnie Coleman interview. So he said, oh, you got Joe Stubbs, you got Samir back in the day, and he's saying all these names. And I'm like, this dude is famous as shit, like Shaq.
I'll bring it back, guys.
Yeah. Like Shaq, like Mark Wahlberg, like all these people that love bodybuilding, Patrick Bet-David, like dude's, I think, a billionaire or somewhere close, or hundreds of millions he's worth. So can we get some of these celebrities with ridiculous money somehow in the sport and like they obviously get them to the event and all that sort of stuff at the Olympia. And the Olympia is interested in promoting the Olympia. But I think the IFB need to get in there as well and say, hey, like, do you want to, we can set this up for you. We can make it huge. We'll promote, whatever they need to do. Even put an advertising budget towards advertising them competing or whatever they need and whatever that celebrity wants, you cater to that shit. Like I would be getting Shaq up on stage at the Olympia.
What about when The Rock tried to come in?
The Athleticon, yeah.
What about, remember The Rock stood up on the Olympia stage and said that he was going to do the $7 Productions and there was this and that, and it's going to be the big, bodybuilding's going to be huge. Guy took off.
The flu killed that.
It doesn't get any bigger than The Rock either.
The flu killed that.
It did.
That would happen.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's well over, It's if he still wants to be part of it, now's the time to jump back.
You know how these things work, man. Like they would have lost her ass on that because there would have been a lot of money that went into it. So I reckon whoever, because I don't think The Rock is just going, yeah, I'm putting all my money down on this. Like it's obviously part of a $7 production, which has probably investors and it's owned by him and Danny Garcia and all that sort of stuff. So it's obviously there's probably a bit more to that behind the scenes, and they're just like, it's not worth it. Too much going on. Like with the Arnold Classic Australia, like that's not back yet, sort of for a reason. My internet dropped out.
True.
Oh my good.
Yeah, and the XFL,
No, you're still here.
So.
Just you look terrible.
Quality.
Is that a strawberry bubbly?
That's orange.
I just had a thought.
It does look orange on the camera, doesn't it?
It
What
does.
color is it?
Yeah.
Not in person.
What,
Am I
is
right?
that-
Strawberry.
What kind is it?
Ah,
Oh.
Is it pink?
But it looks
no.
orange on the camera. Yeah, it's like
Ooh, bubbly.
reddish pink in real life.
What is that?
I'm more muscular in real life too.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, bubbly?
Coca-Cola.
It's like carbonated water, I think. Flavored carbonated water.
Ah,
That's an
I found
oldie.
this underwater.
yeah.
Yeah, I found this
did?
underwater. What year was it? Yeah, 1955, I think. It's got 55 on the bottom anyway.
Nice.
It's older than my dad.
I got so many bottles.
Almost.
Yeah.
So I had a random thought. What would be the incentive of someone like the Arnold Classic or the Dubai Pro to fund some sort of athlete rep council?
0.
Who would
None?
want to do it?
No.
Why?
I don't know. Yeah, why? That's the question.
One
It's like,
thing
why?
Bob said. Nobody wanted it.
No.
Well, what's the point? There's
The
no
only
point.
point is for an athlete. It's really for an athlete wanting it is to get paid more. This is why they have the NBA players that are in part of the NBA Players Association in basketball. They're in it because they're fighting.
That's for contracts.
Yeah, they're fighting for contracts and they're fighting for that sort of stuff.
Bodybuilding doesn't have contracts.
Bodybuilding don't have
Big business.
No,
Yeah.
you see, they're employed. They're employed by the NBA as well, right? Like they're on the
They're
payroll.
employed by
Nobody's on the payroll of the
teams.
IFBB.
So the teams are privately owned, and then they're paid by the teams. But it's all under the NBA. So it's but they have a players' association. But those players are volunteering their time because they are fighting on behalf of the other players. So someone has to step up, and because there is so much money on the line as well. So with bodybuilding, you might be saying, yeah, we want to get paid more at the Olympia, like lower places, like whether the federation or the Olympia has to do that, or somehow someone has to, because that is the pinnacle of bodybuilding. And regardless, if Jake Wood says, I'm not raising prize money for the next 20 years, the federation would have to step in and say, that's messed up because we need this to be the pinnacle. And the thing that I have an issue with now is we haven't heard the Olympia prize money going up. So is the Arnold going to pay the most prize money to a bodybuilding contest ever and be the first to pay $500,000 next year? I don't know, because that's gonna rock some shit up. Like, I'm sure the Olympia next year will be $500,000.
It would look terrible.
Yeah,
it'll be up to next year.
No, that would look terrible on the Olympia. I mean, yeah, they have to. I said it the second that the second that Arnold announced that he was giving out more money. I was like, the Olympia has to go up, and if they really want to establish themselves as the number one in the world, they immediately have to go to $1 million to the winner. That's it. Even if they keep everything else the same, they need to bump the winner up to $1 million. You want to be the best? That's what it's going to be. That's it. It has to get there.
After taxes, you only get half that anyway. Not even.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I would opt to get paid out over 10 years.
But yeah.
Like the lottery.
Yeah. But that's
Canada,
what it has to
all
be.
at once.
No, no matter what?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, America, you can either opt to like get it in small lump sums for the rest of your life.
Really?
Or you
My
can
mom
do
won
like
20,000 there last year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
You said you won 20,000?
No, my mother won 20,000.
Wow, good for her.
Nice. Yeah.
I was with her when she bought the
that's
ticket.
pretty good.
I took her.
Yeah, that kind of counts.
Half of that's yours.
Oh no, she gave me free rent.
Nah.
9 months.
That's good.
9 months free rent.
Ooh.
She birthed you.
take it.
She birthed you.
Look at Dylan. He hates that when I give the women
Birth
credit.
is true. His black pill's like just dribbling out.
Oh, Dylan. Sanch, what was the other thing that we were talking about earlier?
Oh, didn't you guys already forget? Nathan Diasha not doing the Olympia.
What?
Didn't you
Didn't
see
even-
it?
Really?
Strength and Power
mention it in my
breaking the
video.
news today.
Hold on. Where did you hear that?
I saw that on the premier news outlet of
Oh,
Nick
really?
Strength and Power.
Maybe he should be the athlete's rep.
Really?
He's broke my heart too many times.
Oh, Diasha?
Can you
I'm not even gonna
Sanch, can
even
you give
mention
me
his
the
name.
can you give me the date on that video so I can search it? I'm assuming that it was back, when Nathan said he wasn't going to do it.
I'm pretty sure I saw the thumbnail when I was looking
Today.
on YouTube, and it said it was dropped like yesterday. I
I
actually
like
have to
what
find the right channel
Nathan
that
posted
follows
about
it.
4 weeks ago. He was at a festival and he's outside and he's just like,
Yeah.
and he goes, Olympia prep going well or something like that. And I'm like,
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
well, he's obviously joking.
Yeah,
Well,
I saw
people
that.
think he's going to show up, then,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
So, non-news.
pretty,
At the airport
pretty common
last
knowledge.
He's at the airport.
That's what I heard. He got to like the Florida airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was,
No pictures, though.
yeah, that was, I don't,
No, he had videos on his story.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was
Oh,
like,
did he?
yeah,
Yeah.
he did. Yeah, it
Oh
was
man,
pretty
yeah,
wild
he
for
put
him
out
to
a
at
lot of
least try.
videos on his story. Yeah, and him in the hotel room cheating on his diet. Oh yeah,
Cheating on his wife.
No, he doesn't do that.
man, he was detained by the U.S. government.
it's
He
pretty
really put
badass.
you up in his hotel room.
As if our
Yeah,
country
well,
cares about immigrants.
Hey, I mean, I don't see Beirut's flying over here trying to get in. You
Just
know?
don't.
How bad does he want it?
Yeah.
I don't think he's coming either.
No, he's not.
I didn't put him in my predictions.
You can't.
No.
You can't. He's
Gonna
not going to
ruin
make it.
because I wanted to have a perfect 16 out of 16 this
Ooh,
year
yeah.
for my
Yeah,
predictions.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah. That's nearly impossible. Like the fact, like last year, the predictions actually went the way it actually played out was the most predictable Olympia in quite a while, I'd say, because there were some people that got the predictions pretty right.
Except for Tonio, I think. I think Tonio would be the only one.
Yeah.
I like Tonio as well, but most people...
I think I had Tonio in 10th or something, or somewhere like that. I maybe I had him in 9th. I had him quite close, actually. But, yeah, but it was actually one year
I can't remember mine at all.
Hunter beat Krizo, and a lot of people said I was crazy for thinking Hunter was going to beat Krizo.
No, everyone knew it was going to happen.
I had Hunter ahead of Krizo.
Might not agree with it,
but... The Krizo-nites think that I'm a hater, and I'm not. I tell it like it is when it comes to him.
Yeah,
Krizo's the next Mr. Olympia, okay?
Ooh.
Are you a Krizo-nite? I'm sorry.
I
didn't mean to diss your religion.
Krizo is my favorite modern day bodybuilder, I will say that. But like I'm realistic with the guy. Like he's just my personal favorite. I think Krizo's fucking wicked.
I like him. I like his physique. He just needs to
best arms in the game.
So much when he's
better than Nick's. Nick's got great arms, but Krizo's got the hands down best set.
When he comes out there, he's posing. And he can hold them poses. Krizo starts shaking, sweating.
He melts. He melted that one contest.
He's got to work on his cardio. Right. He wears a shirt that says "cardio sucks," and it's like, interesting. That's what I think you need.
And then Steve's like, "All right, we're doing another round."
Do posing, more posing.
I had a picture of Krizo after the 2023 Olympia. It was after, I'm pretty sure, where he was smoking something anyway. I think it was a cigarette. And he
harmless tobacco.
Yeah, he had a thing on there saying that he's like, posing is my cardio. He actually does do cardio now.
Posing, they used to get on Paul Dillette, Chris Cormier, and all of them. They'd be like, "Come on in the mirror after the gym." He'd say, "No, I do my posing at home." And then Chris went to his house to see where he was posing. It was like this little
bro was mentally
area.
deficient.
Who is?
Paul Dillette.
You see him chewing on his thing too when he was training? He's chewing on his towel. It's like
it's just a genetic freak of nature and got away with a lot.
Yep.
Canadians, you got to watch them Canadians. I'm sorry, Kenson.
It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Canadians.
Hey, man, Canada is starting to rocket on the bodybuilding stages out there. I'm telling you, like Canada
you guys lost
has never
Ian
been...
Valliere, the best Canadian bodybuilder that ever lived.
I mean,
but he's still relevant.
I just lost my fandomship. I don't like him anymore.
Can you do the quote?
No, and his stupid little haircut bothers me too. It's way down there. Looks like Steven Seagal's. And there's a picture of
he didn't get a hair
staring at it. Look at the perfect.
He didn't get a haircut.
You see Chris Bumstead's hair? Daddy's home.
He didn't get a haircut. He got a hair transplant.
Can't believe that.
I should get one. I could half this forehead.
At least
mine's good.
What's his name? Ron Harris looks natural. Bumstead's looks like Steven Seagal's.
Ron Harris's hair makes him look so much younger.
Yeah, I know.
Makes him look so hot.
Yeah, it does.
I commented to him a few times. He's like, I think it's the hair. And I'm like, I don't know what you're doing to me, Ron.
It is.
I'm making more accounts to subscribe.
Getting this weird tingling feeling in weird parts of my body. No, I'm joking.
And my toes.
Yeah, I'm joking. My penis hasn't worked in years.
No.
Yeah, Ron probably came down on his cycle too, so it probably cleared up his skin a little bit.
That's not the only thing coming down on Ron.
Anyway, amazing.
He quit smoking. He quit smoking.
Weed, yeah.
Sanch, you got to take control of this guy, man.
Yeah.
Is it time for 2 week out Olympia predictions?
Yeah, why not? Let's roll right into it.
Let's do
Dylan,
it.
what are you thinking? Has anything changed from last week?
I gotta go first. Okay. Give me just a second.
Andrew first.
You can go first, and we can all tell you you're wrong, and how Martin is out of the top 10.
It's what I think is going to happen, not what I want to happen. I have to say that all the time. There are people will get in my
upset. Yes,
it is important to highlight. Like, just because you want something doesn't mean it's going to happen. How
stupid can you be? I'm saying this is what I think is going to happen. Did I say it's what I want to happen? Obviously not. I say multiple times in my videos.
And
I prefer this guy,
but
but
it happens. That means they think it's going to happen because you said
mentally deficient. Mentally deficient. Anyway.
Okay. Everybody subscribe to Project Bodybuilding.
I think Derek first. Let's work backwards. Again, not what I want to happen, but it's just like I was saying after the fact that Hadi should have won. I fully agree that Hadi should win this time around. I don't need to see Derek. How about that? How about that one?
Catch me outside. How about
but
that?
I do think Hadi will be exactly. Oh man.
Okay, I gotta piss, but I can still hear you. Keep going.
I gotta.
hope
He
we
didn't
can't
mute
hear
us
that.
either. He didn't mute us either. That's,
He's just going to get
Knock
a
on
drink.
wood. Yeah.
Let's see. Same top 3 as last year. Why not?
Same top 3. All right, Samson.
Nick in 4th,
Boo.
and Andrew and
Boo!
guys. I'm more excited about second call out than first. I gotta be honest. Not that it's not
the
going to be
second
great.
call-
You're
it's gonna
more
be good.
excited about the
gonna
second
be-
call out. Why would you be more excited? The Olympia
Because I
winner.
want to see a competitive show. That is. I think it's going to be more competitive
I think
than
Andrew
the top.
Jack's going to mix it up. You got Nick Walker. He's going to make it exciting.
Mm.
Like, there's no
Is
guarantee
he?
Samson's going to be third. And I love Samson, but
There ain't no
You gotta be
guarantee
real.
Samson's going to be third.
No, certainly not. Certainly not. I'm just saying, like, hey, he's just to me a more balanced version of Andrew. Okay, and then Nick should have won the 2023 Arnold, but he didn't. What makes us think he's going to win now? Like, again, I'm just saying.
it's two
I
different judging
disagree.
criterias, though. The
what?
Olympia and the Arnold Classic.
It shouldn't be, though.
Same judges.
It shouldn't be, but I mean, everyone.
They don't
like
judge
that's when you
the
say like, oh, New
routines.
York Pro, it's for the mass giants. California show for more streamlined guys. Arnold Classic, more
How
aesthetic.
much do you-
Mr. Olympia,
much-
usually the freaks.
How much do you think that is that guys say they go for that more? And some of them, like California, I think it's the head judge maybe that dictates the call outs that maybe goes for a more that sort of a look. But at the Arnold,
Yeah.
I don't know who the head judge is versus the Olympia, but I think it's Steve at both. I'm pretty sure now. So
Yeah,
it
you're
seems
right.
like
Probably
there's
is
more
Steve at both.
consistency there. Because if you go, like at the last Arnold, no matter what, if that's the Olympia or the Arnold lineup, Hardy's winning. The one before, like, if you go through them, you're sort of like, oh, Nick Walker still.
Brandon Curry.
Yeah, Nick Walker won it. But then Brandon Curry won it. Like, they're different physiques, you know. But then it's like, well, Nick Walker would have won the Olympia if that was, you convert that lineup to the Olympia. And I sort of go through it like that.
Nick's was actually the most aesthetic, I think, out of the top 3 anyway.
What's that?
Because Kuklo and Kuklo and Ian are not that aesthetic. So Nick is arguably, he was still decently aesthetic in the top
Yeah, more
3.
put together. I don't know. Steve has okay flow.
Nothing wrong with Steve, but he just
No, I love Big Steve.
he's not Andrew Jacked.
No.
Correct.
Raphael,
Kenson, did you hear my
Raphael,
top
and
5? You're the most important one to me. Did you hear my top 5? It's so basic,
Andrew's
so
in
normie.
fifth, right?
Andrew's in 5th. Yeah, I think he could beat Nick.
You think he
I
can
think
beat
Andrew
Nick?
could beat Nick.
Okay.
You think he can?
I wouldn't
I mean-
agree. I wouldn't agree. There's a lot of things I don't agree with.
You got
I
Nick
think Hadi
fourth?
should be first. I think Hadi should be
Nick
first
fourth.
multiple times in a row, at least 4. Like Hadi should have multiple Mr. Olympia titles by now, so he doesn't. So it just goes to
I
like
can see that argument.
what I think and the judges think.
Say the
What's
same
that?
I can see
thing
that
about Chris
argument.
Dickerson.
Yeah, because Hardy's always been very, very close. You know what I mean? But like the year that
He should have won in 2019, 2021.
what was the year when he was third in prejudging? He was second, I think it was,
Excuse me.
in finals, but he finished third in the end behind Brandon Curry and Big Ramy. That year at finals, you can debate that. I thought he was potentially the winner.
21.
That was 21, yeah. So
2021.
2021, I'm like, I would have said he was the winner. You know what I mean? At finals. But at prejudging, when you look back at it, you go,
Yeah.
nah, not really. You know? And when he came out, actually,
Yeah, but then
the
I
year he
look
won
at-
the Olympia, first time he came out,
Yeah.
that first presentation, if you judged him solely off that and he looked that same way the whole way through, no way he wins the Olympia. No way. Because I literally, when I was doing my live stream, I said, nah, Hardy's off. Nah, he's soft from the back. But he just improved as he posed. And then at finals, he came back like way better. And everyone forgets what he looked like.
I
when he
mean,
came
who
out.
else would you have gave it to? Nick Walker.
Not Hart.
Nick Walker could have won 2022.
Yeah, but not Hardy.
Missing too much though.
It just, when he first came out, it would not have been Hardy, but he just got so much better. Like, if people actually look back at that, because no one looks at when he first came out on stage at prejudging. Everyone looks at the finals routine. Everyone looks at the, all that sort of stuff. And when you look at the individual, he's not that shredded when he first came out. So Hardy has a physique that's actually low-key bipolar, like Samson, a little bit like one of those physiques where the day before he could be Mr. Olympia, on the day he could lose it. And that's the thing with all these like predictions for this show. I'm like, it's so one of those ones where, you know, look at Rami, what he was doing the morning of freaking prejudging a couple of years ago. He's doing cardio and training abs the morning of prejudging. Like, it's the dumbest shit. I mean, he looked watery. It's like, wonder why. I wonder why his legs look like average. It's like, it's just, anything can happen in these shows. So I'm like, we really don't know what's going to happen. Samson could nail his best peak ever. And, you know, Derek's maybe not quite hard enough through the chest or whatever, and Samson's bigger, and then these other two guys miss their peak.
Derek sucks.
Or three guys, whatever.
No.
Derek's the one I'm actually most confident in terms of nailing that peak out of that top four.
Yeah.
He's the one I'm most confident in terms of nailing it.
Yeah, but I still don't think that Derek's made the improvements, no matter what he does, compared to what I've seen from Hadi. I still think that Hadi's taking it over Derek this year. Yeah. Derek looks better. He looks bigger, but the things that they were asking of him from last year, I don't think that he has them. I don't think that he has those chest and shoulder striations like we really wanted. I don't think that he's improved the quads as much as he really needed to. From the back, he beats everybody. No problem, you know? But I think that Hadi is going to take it. It's going to be Hadi. Then it's going to be Derek. Let's not be ridiculous here. But after that is where it gets interesting, of course, right? I don't know how far you guys really got into 3, 4, and 5. Aside from Dylan's opinions,
Dylan got to fifth, and then we've just been bantering.
Did you go to fifth?
I went Samson, Andrew, Nick. Samson, Nick, Andrew. Excuse me.
Nick, Andrew.
Yeah.
And who's in seventh?
Okay.
Sixth is Brandon. Sixth is Brandon. Seventh is Hunter. 8 is Martin.
I'm not mad with
Soft
that.
2 weeks out prediction.
Your dad way down that far?
Raphael is in there. Like,
no love.
Oh, it's Brandon
Putting your dad
and Hunter
ahead of Brandon or behind Brandon.
Again, it's what I think is going to happen. I know I have to say it for some of you people that don't understand it, but for the people in the back, this is what I think is going to happen. Hunter and Brandon are so far up the head judges' ass, you can't pull them out no matter how bad they look. It's like give me a break. Like, will Brandon be on? I think he'll be better than last year. Will other guys be better? I think 5 guys are going to be better almost no matter what. And he may be better than last year. We're not seeing 2019 Brandon. We just won't. I can almost guarantee it. I don't think he needs to be 2019 to do better. Maybe like a 2021, 2020. That'd be really good. That'd be very good. And then Hunter, it's just like, he's just big. And I think the IFBB likes that. He's big. The IFBB certainly likes something else about him.
That's a big boy.
He's big, and
nice bald head.
You can kind of get over
bald edition.
You can kind of get over some things when you're bigger. You know, it's just easier to overlook, I guess.
If you have condition
like
and you're big,
Rami got,
you have condition and you're big. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard to.
You're gonna place decent.
Yep. Look at Charles Griffin, man. He took top 10 last year because he's huge and he has great conditioning and great midsection control, of course.
It's just odd.
He was definitely not 100% either.
The judging criteria is very bipolar at the moment. Like, to me, this is a bodybuilding show. Nick should be third. Nick should be maybe second, with Hadi in first, Derek in third. This is a muscle and conditioning contest first.
No. You say it's a body.
I love that. I love that.
So this is so. When people say, "Oh, it's bodybuilding," so this is what Jose Raymond. I love Jose Raymond, but he say it's bodybuilding at the end of the day. You know, it's the biggest, hardest guy sort of should win. Like, he sort of said, "Oh yeah, conditioning, shape plays a part." But if you go back, say it's bodybuilding. Bodybuilding back then, way more on aesthetics, way more on posing, like sort of stuff, and bodybuilding has evolved into what it is today. But bodybuilding, like, you can't just say, "Oh, the name is bodybuilding, so it should be the biggest guy." And people say back in the day, Dexter was a small guy. Look at Dexter back in the day posing in a gym. He is fucking huge. So it's like, we're just holding
in stature.
Yeah,
it can give that.
I just think that it still should be a balance. Like, I still prefer. Over Nick Walker, I still prefer a physique like Andrew Jack. Like that, he's actually huge. He was like 300 pounds on stage in Texas. I think he'll be a little bit more crisp. And I think his condition was actually underrated in Texas, because I think if you put that on the Olympia stage next to like Samson, I would say it's probably better than the average Samson condition that's been brought to the stage. So if that's better than Samson's average, which gets top 3 in the Olympia last year, plus he's got the most crazy midsection. He's got one of the best front double biceps in the world. Very good front lat spread. His back double, I don't think is as weak as people are saying now, or the rear lat spread. The ab and thigh is one of the best, if not the best of all time. His most muscular actually looks pretty damn good when he puts his hands together like that. He should never hit the crab or anything. But when you start to add it up like that, you're like, shit. Like, yeah, the side shots, side try looks pretty damn awesome now. Just the side chest and the side leg.
They're not even bad. Like, it's not even bad.
Yeah.
It's not even that bad. Like, not even bad.
Next to
That's
Samson,
why Andrew's going to be third this year. Andrew Jack, third place. Done.
It could be.
Samson, fourth. Nick, fifth.
Over Samson. Okay.
I want Nick to place within the top 3. Man, I want Nick to be Mr. Olympia, honestly. But
it's just so many good guys right now.
There's just too many, you know? There's just too many. I mean, Andrew is a genetic freak of nature, and he's found a way to really capitalize on that, being a taller competitor and still filling out his frame, and just has the aesthetics over Samson, frankly, in my opinion. But that's why I got Samson right behind him. And, for the record, I do think that there's the potential for Samson to cost himself a place simply just by perception when it comes to not being 100% for the show, which we know he's not going to be because he's only carbing up for one day. He's not going to be 100%.
He does that anyway, by the way.
I think that may
he
have
hardly
an influence.
carbs up.
Yeah. But he must do it over more than a day for the Olympia.
Hardly anything.
He didn't do anything for the Arnold.
Hardly anything. Trust me. It's like almost nothing. Samson, he's got this physique where he can just flood with water. And he just tends to eat like 200 grams of carbs and he's just like, bup, 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 bup. It's just like, it doesn't make sense. Like his glycogen must be like 95% water. It just doesn't, I don't know how it works, but that dude.
So does he only spend a day, or does he only?
Yep. He's done shows where he basically doesn't carb up. Like all he does is for a day or two, increase the carbs a little bit. So it's like he goes maybe from, I don't know the exact amounts, but just for an example, just say he's having 150 grams of carbs a day on average, or 100 or whatever. He'll go to maybe 200 and then maybe 300 or something like that. You know what I mean? It's nothing crazy. It's just a bit to get that bit extra glycogen. I think his body just super compensates somehow, and he looks full enough without holding so much fluid where it starts to like wash him out, because he's just got one of those physiques where you give him carbs, he gets huge and gets full like a King Williams, but he just tends to just get this watery look. Like it just tends like, I don't know, his body just super compensates weirdly, like under the skin plus in the muscle. It's just so weird.
So then he is going to be 100% at this show then. He's doing the exact same thing that he would do for the Olympia.
Yeah, but 2 weeks out.
Still less.
And also like maybe his training doesn't change as much. There's a few like probably subtle variances, but he gets a trial run. So he should be, 2 week out. If he's coming in and he's 2 weeks out conditioning wise and he's planning to be a little bit harder, maybe he looks 1 week out, which is basically almost there. So he should be a version very close to what he should look like at the Olympia 2 weeks out. So I think he'll look good.
Yeah, very, very, very close is relative to from show to show, though. I mean, the next show is the Olympia, so I still am going to put him in fourth. Given all that, I'm going to have him in fourth, and then Nick, and then Hunter, and then Brandon,
sticking with Hunter,
and then Martin. Yep, Hunter in sixth.
Just gonna go one.
I'm going with Hunter in sixth. But they won't put Brandon any further than seventh.
No, they
Mr.
will
Olympia.
not. They will not.
Dexter plays.
In fact, I tend to agree with you. Well, yeah. Was that the year he had the torn bicep?
That was his last year.
No. Last.
Oh, well,
2020.
that's the thing. It's like they still made it within the top 10.
Yeah.
It's like I think it was ninth.
No, they won't
actually.
give.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think Brandon will get less than. He may not even get less than sixth. Well, yeah.
The concern I have about
I'd say sixth or seventh for Brandon.
The concern about Brandon, man, is just that Abdullah was saying like, oh no, he was too small when he come out. I said no, Brandon, And he's saying like, I'm like, did Brandon leave it a little bit too late to go out to oxygen or to get big enough for the Olympia? That's the only concern I have, because I haven't seen any videos or any photos where he looks huge.
No.
I don't think he's pushing that hard in the off season to put on more size either, right?
No.
I wouldn't think. Like, not like some of these guys have been.
No, he's Kevin Levrone 2.0 in that aspect. He just kind of leaves it till, not the last minute. Like, he grows into shows. He gets bigger before he gets leaner. Kind of both at the same time for a while.
Massively.
It's an interesting approach, but when you've never placed outside the top 5 in the past 5 years, it's like, what if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Yep.
But also, it is always that thing, what have you done for me lately? And Brandon, he's not done anything for them lately.
Fourth from the Olympia.
So
That's what they've done for him.
That was pretty good.
yeah, that's what they did for him. What has he done for them?
Hey, Hunter and Jack weren't on. They were off.
Hunter should have beat Andrew last year. Hunter should have been 4th last year.
Neither one of them impressed me at the Olympia. They both
neither of them were
before the Olympia too.
No, you're right, Mark. None of them were impressive at the. Nobody looked very good at the Olympia. The lighting was the worst show of the year. I've said it many times. Yeah. The worst show of the year.
Had the worst lighting. Lighting hurts them.
Terrible. Awful.
And the late stage time.
Yeah.
Wait, that was 2022 was really bad. Man.
Yeah,
they had
they run over schedule all the time.
It was
2022 was the worst.
Oh man.
Yep.
Oh, that was just ridiculous.
Another thing as well with that show,
unbelievable.
The guys apparently had to walk outside then to get on stage from the backstage, and apparently it's freezing outside.
Yeah.
So every athlete's having to walk outside, freezing cold, and then to get back to the backstage.
We don't have any body fat. Like
veins are all gone.
You know?
Don't worry, guys. Jake Wood owns the Olympia. He knows what he's doing. He has the fans in mind. He's told me he's told me, the athletes rep, he knows what he's doing. Some old man clearly knows what the fans want. You guys need to realize this. And so I'm copyright striking every one of your videos until you do realize it. And then what do you think? You're going to say it's the best lighting ever.
I don't know what to think, Dylan. I don't know what to think.
It's the best lighting.
Not much.
Yeah, well, I didn't think much of the lighting at the Olympia last year, that's for sure.
You know, EP, I am kind of getting more... I'm more favorable to Andrew, simply not because I think he should be higher, but it is kind of it's where the money is. It's just where the money is.
Yep.
Andrew Jack won the Olympia title, the revenue would go right up.
For sure.
You're right.
Yeah, it's just...
And if Ramon Dino won the Classic?
No.
Anybody but Hair Boy, Daddy's home.
Wesley.
Do we really?
Company.
Okay, you're just saying that. Thank God. Thank God. I can't deal with that anymore.
Breon Ansley said he's going to win it anyway.
Breon could legitimately look twice as good and they wouldn't give it to him.
They already
Wesley will be the next Classic Physique Olympia champion. Wesley Vissers, ladies and gentlemen.
The next?
Wesley.
When is next?
As soon as Chris wants to retire.
With his natural hairline as well. Vissers.
I'm not convinced.
Wesley
I think Ramon still has a good chance.
I'm not saying this year.
Ramon is more complete, better back. Less wow factor from the front, but still pretty good.
His posing hurts him.
He's not.
That's so dumb. I hate that so much.
Nearly as classic as Wesley.
You're right. It's just like you are Mr.
We don't have
Olympia.
enough time to dive into classic. That's.
I
have a hard out right now.
There. Just slip.
Yeah.
Take her feet out of the pothole.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Back to the open.
They're out. Okay. All right.
Closing thoughts.
About this later, Dylan.
2 weeks out, men's open. Any
Xavier get his top 5?
No, he keeps it pretty. I keep it pretty
close
to
the
best
and Andrews
because
for
my
the top
predictions
two last time, right?
so much.
I don't know when I said that, but all right.
He's like, well, you're right, but I don't remember saying that.
Yeah, exactly. So I will give you first. That's it. No.
Then say it.
First, I'll go Andrew Jack. Second, I'll say Derek Lunsford. Third, I'm going to say Samson. Fourth, I'm saying Hardy. Fifth,
I love this guy.
I am saying Martin Fitzwater.
Ooh, I like it. Wow.
Wait, where did you have Hardy?
Martin moving up over Curry, over
really
Labrada.
Man, I love this guy. I do.
Bold.
Where did Nick go in that
Those
lineup?
are great
Nick's
predictions,
going.
man.
He's going. Oh yeah, so that's the thing. These are soft predictions, but Nick is I'm putting either 5th or 6th. So I'm putting him in 6th.
These aren't even soft. These are like liquid predictions. They just flow in whatever container they're in, and right now it's in your fucking toilet, I guess. I don't know. These predictions are trash.
I'm saying,
was it the Dunny?
This is a bold prediction. I'm going to say that Martin starts in the second call out, and everyone sees him in that call out. He gets moved to the middle, and he looks dominant in some of those front shots. I think like the front lat. I think those quads are going to be whoop, and then the shoulders whoop, whoop, whoop. And I think that will all look really good in a second call out with Brandon Curry in there, and people are going to go, shit, look at him next to Brandon Curry because he's got the roundness to the legs, which I think in that call out with Nick Walker potentially, and then Martin from the back, and people are going to go, oh shit, then they're going to move him into the group with the top guys potentially.
for a second.
So that's my prediction. Oh, I was like, what is that in the bottom of the screen?
It's a dog.
Transform. He's like, hold on a second. Transform
You guys
into
hear
a
that
dog.
Snake or something. Yeah.
You guys hear that cat?
You have cats, Mark?
My cat's meowing at me to let him out.
Oh,
Let
we're
him
almost
out.
done. Don't worry. I would say, I think because last time I cut out early because I didn't give predictions, so I have to give my predictions this time.
Yeah, let's hear them.
Man,
Yeah, let's hear these. Wrong.
I just got this feeling that Nick's gonna show up, but I really want to see Andrew or Samson win.
Really?
But there's also, we've only seen Hottie in second once, Mark?
He only placed second once at the Olympia.
Once. So they're either going to break that cycle and do a back and forth, and have like a Phil Kai energy going on. They're either going to do that, or they're going to push Hottie down and bring up a new challenger, kind of like how Classic is doing it this
He
year.
would not be happy about that.
He would not be.
I would pay to see the Olympia just to see his reaction to getting third or fourth. Could you
I see
imagine?
it.
Forth.
I see it. I see Samson and Derek on the poster. I see it, Josh.
Yeah.
I see it.
So
Maybe-
I'm going to put Derek's going to win again.
Oh,
Samson close second.
Oh, see, I was going to do that.
It is. I do want to bring this up for Josh's point. They did an Olympia battle, just those two, earlier this year.
yeah,
Samson and Derek.
that's true.
That could be a foreshadow hype, yep.
But also possibly
So
because
those
Hardy
two-
can't get in the country as well.
Well, there's also that, yeah.
Just do it in Dubai, you
a good chunk of it.
lazy,
Ooh,
lazy
you turds.
Olympia crew.
Yeah.
You.
Yeah, Olympia
Fly
TV.
20 of them
whoever
over
else
to
is there.
Dubai now for this one video.
Yeah, throw some oil money on it. And
I agree.
you're fine.
Well, they had Nick. They had Nick there as well, didn't they?
That was a different one.
I'll bring it back.
Okay.
So
So
Hottie
Nick
third,
Got it.
Andrew fourth, Nick fifth,
Right.
Hunter sixth. I
Brandon.
really want Martin seventh, but I'm gonna put Curry seventh, Martin
Yeah.
eighth. I know.
You have to.
I really
Yeah,
like Martin right
Yeah,
now.
you
He
just
looks
have
so
to.
good.
It's just like they love Curry. They do, and they
then,
love Curry.
I missed your predictions.
I didn't write them down. So let's see if I can remember them.
Yeah, they're about to change
Samson
right now.
second.
They're about to change.
Samson second.
Yeah, Andrew, Samson, Hottie, Nick, Andrew, Hunter, Curry, Fitzwater.
Brandon.
And I don't know
Did you
if
say
Rafa
Fitzwater?
falls there. Or,
Oh, Fitzwater.
no, Waters. Fitzwater.
There's some
Water?
foreshadowing.
Fifth.
Could be. You never know. And then I don't really know outside that we got Raphael and I don't know who else.
Ooh, Raf's
is in the
one,
rest
I
of that
think,
top
can
10.
come in and mess some stuff up. Because
He could.
if you, but like Ian always says, he says Tyler loves Raf.
Yep.
Oh, he
Yeah.
does.
So, I mean, and look, I love Raf as well. He's got an awesome physique. And I think if they push more towards that aesthetic look, I think that he's going to be up there.
Yeah, the higher Andrew is, the higher Raphael is.
Ooh.
I think maybe even the smarter choice is Raphael over Martin.
I just think from the back, I think Martin's going to have too much,
Crazy.
You make a good
too
point.
much thickness.
Okay, and Raphael's, he's.
Brandeau's
You're right.
getting
He doesn't have a back. Brandon's back is receding by the second. Hunter's back is getting better somewhat. I don't think the back simultaneously is the most important pose, but also only when it counts. Apparently, it's a very interesting thing. I wish it was cut and dry. Like there's no back. He's not winning the Olympia. Sometimes that just happens. Sometimes it doesn't. I think now in this,
2018.
Closing
I thought
thoughts.
Big
Raphael,
Rami.
9th or 10th.
Who's ninth
Big
or
Robbie,
10th?
no.
probably Bonac.
Raphael.
Yeah, I got him 10th. People give me crap for that.
Yeah.
Why?
The
Too high, too low?
Brazilians. They
Nah, I
get,
mean-
Too low.
what's that?
They're saying it's too low.
Yeah. Yeah, it's disrespectful to put
Who's in
Brandon.
ninth?
Curry.
Who's in eighth?
Bonac, and I took heat for that. I
Yeah,
I don't see Bonac losing to Curry right now. Don't see
Okay.
it.
Well, Bonac beat Nathan Diasha
would-
and also beat Beirut.
Beirut, really?
And people saying Beirut's
Bonac-
top
Yeah, he did beat him.
Bonac
Yeah.
lost to Brandon when Bonac was better.
Yeah, well, this is a different story now. Bonac is back.
No,
Going back.
he's worse than in 2022.
Yeah, he's more back than Brandon Curry is. I'm here to tell you.
Gyno aside, and sure that is a big mark. But like Bonac doesn't carry the size, the fullness of what he did at it. He's very complete, conditioned, and
Curry's going to
whatnot.
be small too, though.
He's going to be better than 2023. He's probably going to be a little bigger than 2022.
He is, but is he going to be better than that year?
He only needs to do 2022 to beat Bonac. Logic would permit.
2022, he was big, but he was soft.
No, Arnold Classic. Arnold Classic.
Oh, he was little, though, and I thought Bonac should have beat him there anyway.
I agree, but the judges love Curry. They gave it to him.
That one was super close at Arnold. I loved that. Like, I go back and watch that pose down between Bonac and Curry.
Brandon.
Ooh, like, that is... I kept looking at it and going, oh, but I have... Yeah, Bonac has that, like, real... And I'm just like, I wouldn't be able to decide unless I saw it in person.
For sure.
2019 was basically the same.
Yeah, it's good.
Same battle.
It's good.
Yeah, but Brandon was clearly like, when Brandon is like that good, there's just a wow factor about him.
The roundness he had at the Olympia, he was so super full. Like the year he won, crazy fullness. And you sort of forget, like his condition wasn't as good as it was at the Arnold. So I think the Arnold package was better.
Yeah.
But that fullness was... I see why he won it, and he has that wow factor. So if you see that fullness in person, like if you see overwhelming condition or density or something like that in person, it can just pop. And if it is more overwhelming and just sticks out more than the other person, then you can see why they win. You know what I mean? And why they beat other guys. But so much, I know you have to wrap up.
Bonac lost to Nate.
This video's over.
Yep. Closing thoughts, guys. I got to roll.
Closing thoughts?
Bonac lost to Nathan Diasha this year.
Bonac versus Curry. That's what I'm doing as soon as this video's over. Just to
deal.
I like
that
it.
Sounds
Prove
good.
you
Which Curry? Which Curry?
Last year's Olympia.
Yeah, it has to be last year. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah. All right, well, I'll enjoy that one. I can't wait to leave a comment. I know how that one goes.
And all the Creasonites will be there as well. Just to tell Mark he's wrong.
I'll be
on
there.
Principle.
Yeah, let's compare this guy who was in the hospital last night to a fresh Bonac who's had a year off and is at least back to some form. I'm sure that'll be fair.
He's full from the Olympia, though.
Crizzo beats both of them anyway.
Yeah.
So it doesn't
Exactly.
matter.
Yeah, no, that's my point. He's going to beat Bonac.
Where's she?
We will see.
I'm actually not
I'd
sure.
put Crizzo up against the winner, and Crizzo will win.
I can't wait to see Bonac place ahead of Curry at the Olympia and say, ha ha ha, Dylan.
That would be that. It doesn't even make any sense. Like, on what basis does that even happen?
Where's she?
Oh, that's the argument. That we'll see. We'll see. Maybe Bonac could, like, I don't know, bring 2019 back.
I feel like we should do a whole... If Sonch needs to go, we should do a whole nother pod. Just Bonac versus Curry.
I was just going to say, like, EP needs to launch up another bodybuilding breakdown.
Hey, I'll do one now.
Everybody sign on to my...
If anyone's keen, I'll do it.
Everybody sign on. I'll fire one.
I'll do it.
No,
I'll do it.
No.
Yeah, I feel bad, but I have to go. So
let's wrap it up. We'll continue this in the
boys,
chat.
Yeah. Thank you, as always. Make sure you guys check out all their channels in the descriptions, and we'll see you next week for 1 week out of the 2024 Mr. Olympia.
See you guys.
See you later, fellas.
I was just about to hit leave.